up, everybody? Welcome to Playing the Field, a Bachelor podcast where we never stab you in the back. I'm your host, Ryan Field, the sports anchor here at ABC in New York City, joined now, as always, by our two favorites, Jen Matarese, our Bachelor insider from here in New York, and our Bachelor expert, Gina Sirico, out there in sunny Los Angeles. Jen, welcome back. And, you know, Jen only came back today because Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are now engaged.
I was losing my mind for a minute there.
You were losing your mind. Gina seemed unbothered by the whole thing, which was very surprising to me.
She told me the news.
Gina told you the news?
Yeah.
And was there any excitement in her voice?
A little.
Yeah?
Yeah. Were you excited, Gina? It's big news.
It is big news. Gina, you were out in L.A. where all the gossip, the celebrity gossip happens. Did this seem like a foregone conclusion in your mind that they were going to get engaged?
I think a lot of people thought that they already were engaged, to be honest. Like, I feel like, a lot of people figured this is, next steps. They are very much committed, and I think it's great. That podcast, when she went on his podcast, it was one of those kind of amazing things.
And they were like,
everyone reacted and thought they were married, so.
I thought the cool thing about her going on the podcast was that we saw a side of her that we never really get to see. Normally she's pretty buttoned up and, I felt like she kind of let her guard down and just chilled for an hour and a half with those guys. And it was really fun to see. And now they're engaged. And if you would have seen, I wish we would have had the cameras rolling when Jen saw the news. There might have been some jumping jacks, some cartwheels, all the things. Yeah, right. America's favorite couple.
She got the zoomies. She was running around the studio.
This is my royal wedding.
It's your royal wedding. You know what? I think ABC should right now put into televise their wedding. Let's do it. And I am an ordained minister. I'll be happy to conduct the ceremonies.
Oh, we get to come then.
Yeah, well, obviously, yes. You two will be the flower girls. I'll find a way to make that happen.
Oh my God!
The question is, will one of our favorite Bachelor couples get engaged? And there's a lot to unpack from this episode. As much as my two co-hosts want to just talk about Taylor and Travis for the next 20 minutes, we're going to have to dive into what we just witnessed in Bachelor in Paradise. And it feels like everything was at a slow burn the first 6 or 7 episodes, and now it's almost like they hit the fast forward button, and a lot of things are happening all at once. And the season finale is already next week, which is sad, and on two fronts. One, Bachelor in Paradise is coming to an end, and also like the unofficial end of summer, which also kind of stinks. So it's a double whammy, but a lot to unpack from what we witnessed. And I guess we'll start with the whole glamping challenge, which was, you talk about the ultimate test of a relationship, and having was she a psychiatrist, a relationship expert?
Yeah, like a relationship expert.
Yeah, and she was there, unbeknownst to them, listening to all of their conversations. And I really thought the people that really surprised me the most were Dale and Kat, because as Kat was freaking out, I feel like Dale kind of has a short fuse, and I thought for sure he was going to freak out on her and kind of be just a real jerk, but instead he kept his cool and helped her through her very buggy situation. Somehow I feel like you would react the same way to the bugs.
Eventually,
in a campsite.
I don't think initially, like, when they were eating dinner and before they got to the campsite, my thought was, oh God, I wouldn't want to eat all of that food and then be camping.
Camping, right. Yes, bathroom facilities at a minimum.
With someone you're dating.
Yeah, with someone you're dating.
Newly,
that you've been dating for like 12 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going glamping. Gina, your overall take on the glamping experience?
Well, first of all, I love the fact that we had 2 challenges during this episode, and both had to be stopped because of, like, natural situations. The first one was, like, animal safety said they couldn't be there. It wasn't safe for them anymore. And then the other one was because of lightning strike. So it's like nature was not their friend this episode. But, got to see a lot about some of our favorite couples here. How they work together, how they don't work together, how, Kat was very bothered. It was very interesting. And, how Dale tried to, like, calm her down. It was something that the therapist brought up. And it was interesting to see, like, that was a definite plus. I think there were a lot of interesting observations. I kind of wish, like, note to Bachelor in Paradise for next season, have the therapist there the entire time and observing, because I really feel like she nailed some interesting things. And I would have loved her observations on things from like the beginning of the season.
But I also feel like she had a couple of peculiar observations, like saying that Alex and Andrew didn't have chemistry, which I found to be very interesting.
They do have chemistry, except she laughs it off a lot because I think she's nervous. Alex,
Yes,
I'm talking
right.
about.
She's a little awkward, I feel like.
Yes, but Andrew just like rolls with it. You know what I mean? He's very cool like that. And I think they complement each other. And I think if she had seen their relationship from the start, maybe she'd feel that way. And then the thing with Kat and Dale, okay, I actually think Dale was kind of like just blowing her off for a while, like, ugh, whatever. You know what I mean? I don't think he's the type to like yell at somebody, you know, necessarily, but I do think he was definitely annoyed by it.
Well, listen,
You
as
know?
a guy, I feel like how could you not be?
Sure.
I mean, it was a little over the
Bug
top.
zapper.
I mean, she's crying and freaking out. I mean, it's not like she's in the middle of a hornet's nest.
I wouldn't
I
sleep in
thought
a
it
tent.
was a little over the top. But listen, she's got a bug phobia, so everybody's got their things. I thought, given the circumstances, I thought Dale handled it about as well
Did,
as
but was
could.
he the winner? Like, I don't think they're the winner of like being the most stable, best relationship. And I think if we had gotten to see more of what the other couples did, I don't see how Jess and Spencer aren't the winners of that.
Of
You know
that
what I mean?
competition? Gina, do you
yeah,
agree?
they seem to have fun.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, again, I'm with Jen on this. I wish we would have been able to see a little bit more of how the others reacted. I mean, I know why they showed so much of Kat.
Sure.
Because it is dramatic and it makes for good TV. But also, like, does it make for a good relationship? That's the question.
You know, I was really hoping you were going to disagree with Jen because I feel like the show is better when you two kind of go at each other, which frankly doesn't happen often enough. So I need to find a way
You never
to.
do.
Well, maybe something's coming. We'll see.
God, I mean, we're 8
Yeah.
episodes in, and you guys are just on the same page.
Oh, gosh.
I need to be the antagonist here. Keith and Kathy. So we get to.
You don't actually have to be an antagonist.
Sure, I do.
But I mean, you
we
know.
need to keep
nature,
things
Gina. You don't.
interesting here. Absolutely. So we get to the rose ceremony, and Keith and Kathy. I thought for sure we're going to go home, and they did not. And then there was a tie because there was they didn't go home because there was a tie. And I thought it was great how they did the flashbacks to Jonathon going after Kat, and Dale has been kind of sitting on his payback to Jonathon, just waiting for the right moment to strike.
Mm-hmm.
And then he sent Gina's boy home. Gina.
It's the first thing I thought of.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of. Gina, were there tears shed? Was there tissues nearby to help you through this very emotional Bachelor in Paradise for you?
I did not cry. There were not tears. I was texting with Jonathan though after I saw it, and I was like,
Oh.
"Bro, I'm
Really,
sad to see
Gina?
you go." Yeah.
I think, you
I
know what? I
did.
think
I
Jen's
was
a
sad
little
to see
annoyed
you
that
go.
you didn't tell her that.
I know.
That's what I think.
You didn't say, hey,
Sorry.
guess what I spelled to tonight.
Yeah, right.
No details?
I'm sorry,
Sorry.
Gina. Are you supposed to reveal is what the word I'm looking for? Reveal all of your texts to Jen because that's what it sounds like.
I think you should.
No. I don't reveal all my texts to everybody.
As well,
Sorry.
you shouldn't. Anyway,
Sorry.
continue.
Sorry.
No, I had told him that I was sad to see him go, and he was just like, you know what, everything kind of happens for a reason. It was the way it was. We knew, look, all the platonic couples had targets on their backs, and Dale, that was he knew. I mean, he even said it, in his exit. He's like, Dale made the right choice for Dale.
Mm-hmm.
And that was
The thing I found interesting, and I don't know if you two noticed this, and it happened very quickly. When Jonathon was saying his goodbyes in a group hug, Dale comes over and joins the hug. I would have been like, bro, get the F out of here. There's no way you're coming in here after backstabbing me and then trying to hug and act like everything's
but Jonathan,
cool.
ever the gentleman.
Ever the gentleman. He handled it much
Jonathan
better than
did
I would have.
not do that.
I would like
Yes,
to see you on the
exactly.
show now.
Oh, absolutely.
He's going to mix it
Yeah,
up.
you have to. It's like, and again, Jonathon perhaps didn't understand until he watched it back what went into Dale's reasoning. Maybe he thought Dale just eliminated him because they were a platonic couple, but then you find out Dale's got all this kind of hidden animosity
Yeah.
towards Jonathon, and that played a factor in his decision.
Yeah,
He
you
didn't
can't.
like
Going
the
after his
fact.
girl.
Remember, Well, but first of all, I don't know that he was going after his girl.
I mean, they showed a couple clips, Gina.
It seemed maybe.
Yeah.
They were talking.
Oh,
They were talking. It was, and like at one point,
Disagree.
finally, Jen
he said, "Oh, yeah,
disagrees.
look at me."
Jen, you
But
and
when do
Gina
we
have the
know
floor.
There you go.
Tell her. But they
Jen.
showed clips of them.
Yeah.
He literally was like, "Yo, you're not going to come talk to
They showed clips of
me."
them talking. Like,
Yeah,
right,
but
well,
he was.
When was that clip? Do we know when that
Earlier.
was? Could have
It was
been
earlier.
It was still
right before they were
earlier,
even a
right.
couple.
But it did happen.
It did
So
happen.
that's what I'm saying. So it's, but what I'm saying is, it's not like he knew that they were in a committed relationship and then was like,
wanted
"Hey,
to
why
bust
won't you
it
look
up.
at me?"
He did want to bust it up.
Because Dale was being a jerk. Do you remember?
Yeah, but like, do you want to
Do you remember
ruin
all of
someone's
this?
relationship if they're being a jerk?
That's
Like,
the whole thing, right?
When
Jonathan.
Dale, I feel like this, like some of this all went on when Dale was saying, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna say this to like get a reaction from Kat." Don't you remember he was doing that? And Jonathan was trying to tell her, like, "Hey, I feel like that's where that all came from," and
The only thing I will say, and I see your point, Gina, but the clips that they showed, they're wearing like different clothes each time. So this happened over the course of a few days.
That's true.
It wasn't like in the same night he went up to her 3 different times. I mean, this was over the course of 2 or 3 days. He was, as the kids say, shooting his shot, hoping to convince Kat that maybe he
it was a combined thing where he wanted to mess stuff up, but he also was like, "Oh, maybe I could have a shot."
And
with
listen,
her.
Gina was texting with him. Does he not like Dale? I mean, is that fair to say?
we didn't talk about Dale. We didn't talk about
Okay.
Dale. I just told him that
Can
I
you
was
ask him
sad that
for
he
us?
was. That was all.
Can we get
I'm
a
not
quick
gonna do
FaceTime and bring him on the podcast?
Yes, we
So
need
we
a
can
bit.
get his,
Let's get him on it. We'll get him on the podcast at some point, maybe like after this season, because the season ends next week.
Yeah, season ends next week.
We'll get him on and we'll have a conversation with him. I'll bring him right here.
Well, we are looking forward to that.
Can we talk about Jess and Spencer for a sec?
Yeah, go ahead.
Really? Okay, because I was really interested in your guys' take on if you thought Spencer was being like just too much.
And it's interesting because I feel like typically, and again, this
It's
is a
fair.
generalization.
Mm-hmm.
This is not me trying to cause any problems here with anyone. I feel like the woman is typically the one who would try to establish those things like, where are we going? What are we doing? Are we moving in together? What's the plan after this?
Mm-hmm.
And it was almost like a little bit of a role reversal where Jess was just kind of playing it cool. Like, yo, I really dig Spencer. We're having a great time. And Spencer's like, I'm falling in love with you. He's saying that, to the producers and to the camera, I'm falling in love with you. What are we doing? Who's moving in? My lease is up. Your lease is up.
When do you want to have
Yeah,
kids?
when do you want to have kids? And it was like, whoa. And again, the audience thinks they may or may not, but this doesn't happen over the course of 8 weeks. I mean, they filmed this show over the course of what, like 3 to 4 weeks?
Yeah.
So this is all like very fast.
Something like that.
But I did think it was rather interesting that he was the one pushing for that. And I thought Jess was going to be all about it. And then she was kind of hitting the brakes, like, I don't know if I'm ready to live with this person. And
She's younger than him, too.
she is. That's a good point.
So her timeline is not as accelerated, as his is at this point, because he feels like he wants to do things by a certain age or a certain time. And she's like, well, I still have some time here.
Right.
What's the rush?
What's the rush? Gina, what was your take on it?
I hear Jen and I are back on the same page. I agree. I feel like, everyone's timeline is different. And, this for Jess, like, I get her being a little scared. Her fears kind of kicked in. And I guess she had mentioned a previous relationship.
Yeah.
And so I get where, you always worry that things that happened in previous relationships could happen again. And so I get it. And as we all know, yes, this is a very accelerated situation. But we also know that you have to figure these things out. And if you are aligned, to see if you will work on the outside.
Sure. And,
So,
maybe they kind of knew that this was coming to an end. Like, they knew the show end was just around the corner,
Sure.
and reality is kind of hitting them in the face. Like,
Getting nervous, getting anxious,
like, okay, so now what happens?
Yeah. And he wants to kind of lock it down.
He wants to lock it down.
He's like, I want to make sure
and
that there's a future after this.
I think even the therapist brought it up too, where she was just like, you're in a controlled environment now and you got to see like if it can work on the outside.
Maybe that
so
also.
I guess that's kind of propelled that conversation.
Yeah, for sure. And, we go back to the rose ceremony, and Kathy and Keith survive. They live to see another day. And then they go right to, you thought that was going to be the end of the episode. Oh, no, there's still a lot more to come. They go to, which I thought to be very crazy, the backstabbing, scarecrow type figures.
I was struggling
on
with
the
what
beach.
to call those.
Yeah, they're kind of scarecrows minus all the hay, basically. Yeah. All dressed kind of funky. Jeremy's rocking his pineapple glasses. Kind of a lot happening there. And I thought it was interesting that you get to see, do you think they knew whose knives were who when they're going back, or did you just know it was a generic knife? I wonder if each person was assigned a certain color, like they knew like Jeremy was red and he put the in the back of Dale.
Have.
You know what I mean? So when
that.
Dale goes back, like, do they know like who is the one actually stabbing them in the back? But I thought it was very interesting, the questions that they were asking and also getting people's opinions on who they thought was going to do what. And yeah, I thought it was cool at the same time.
I kind of liked the one when Jeremy had all the knives in his back. I was like,
right.
Yes.
And Jeremy was saying, they said he's the most likely to cheat, but he's never cheated on anyone in his life, but he's sure other people in the house have. So I think everybody kind of took it with a grain of salt. That challenge, what did you think, Gina?
I agree. Again, that was another one that got cut short. I wonder, because of lightning strikes. So I wonder if we would have seen more of like some more interesting, questions. Not that these weren't interesting. I wonder if the questions like we're going to get even more harsh as the challenge went on before lightning cut that down.
Yeah, some people seemed a little bothered by it, but I think at the end of the day, they're like, all right, it was another challenge. They're never comfortable. These challenges always are designed to stir things up.
Yeah, and I think they're doing a better and better job at that with each one, I feel like.
Do you like that Alexe and Andrew were safe?
Yeah, I do like that.
Yeah.
The dagger challenge, they survived and they won the dagger challenge, we should say, and they're safe. I am happy with that because I feel like they do. Oh, that was one of my favorite moments of the episode. When Andrew wouldn't let her say it first, and he's like, I'm falling in love with you. And I thought that was really cool because he could see how stressed out she was as she was about to say it. And yeah, are they becoming my favorite couple on Paradise? I think so, especially after Spencer kind of went a little too much on Jess. I think they've done a nice job of kind of playing it cool and going at the appropriate pace. And it's nice to see Alexe open up because I think she's still a little socially awkward when it comes to guys a little bit.
Maybe this will help her comfort level.
That's what I'm thinking it will. I'm thinking it will. Gina, your take on our favorite couple, or my favorite couple, I should say.
On your favorite couple. I like them. For the record, I'm not playing favorites on the couples. I'm just saying. No, I like Alexe and Andrew.
Get off the fence, Sariko.
No, I like Alexe and Andrew because I do feel like their kind of humor and their personalities match quite well. It's funny because when I spoke with Wells a couple of weeks ago, or a few weeks ago now, he mentioned Alexe and Andrew specifically, like the first time when he was in Paradise, like it did not go well for him. He didn't, like things weren't jibing, everything was kind of like not going his way. He came back and now it really is like, it was his time. So I feel like that it's good. I think it's, this was the right time for him to be there with the right girl. And so good for him.
Good for him. And Kathy and Keith, we keep kind of just touching on it, but Keith's feeling very homesick. And then Kathy, who, has been kind of a mentor to a lot of the ladies there and has really enjoyed kind of watching all these love relationships, as well as, really enjoying her friendship with Keith. She was ready to self-eliminate as well. I feel like they knew it kind of came to that time. I thought it was interesting that Keith voted against Jonathon, did like a 180 at the last minute after the girls were like, listen, we love having you here as like a fatherly figure. And because of his daughters, he feels like he relates well to young women. So I thought that was another cool moment as well.
It was really heartwarming, actually. Like when they were all sitting there together, I was like, oh, Keith, now you got to stay, and they were telling him that he had a purpose there and they needed him. And I think that Kathy and Keith provide like such comfort and wisdom to them. And I will hate to see that end if it does end.
If it does end, yes, we don't know how this is all
I guess it all ends eventually.
Yeah, right. They kind of left us with a cliffhanger going into this next rose ceremony. And Keith has really become, Gina, probably one of our favorites, not only in this series, but in the Golden series altogether, I would say.
He's a great guy. He really is. I mean, we even saw that during Joan's season. He's just a good guy, fun to be around and all of that. And I'm just going to bring it back to those conversations. This is why I wish this is the thing that I wanted this whole, Bachelor in Paradise season, is to see the interactions between the Goldens and the young ones, and all of this advice and, all the conversations. We didn't see half of that. I wish we would have seen more of that. That to me, I feel like would have just taken this season on a different level.
Yeah, you almost wish we could have had a couple more episodes. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I also appreciate, I don't know if you guys caught it, when when Kathy and Keith were talking, she was mentioning, Kathy was mentioning, winning the money would be great for somebody like Alex because she has school debt, and this would help her pay that off. It's like they were thinking in this way. They have a way of thinking and seeing the world of this world in a different way. And it's so refreshing. And I wish we would have seen more of that.
I wish so as well, but I am happy we're going to see more of the Parliament of Paradise. Boy, what a twist that is for next week. Everybody's coming back. Sean gets his last shot at Kat, and Kat gets all fired up. They definitely did a good job of kind of leaving us wanting more as we head into the series finale.
I should have saw that coming.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming either. It's gonna be great to see how this all finishes up, and we have a big guest this week as well.
We do. Golden's Gary, Gary with Gary and Leslie of Gary Livingston.
My first question is going to be, Gary, why do you call yourself Big G? That's what I want to find out the answer to.
So excited that we're going to get to talk to him again. Yeah, he's so great.
Gary is great, one of our favorites. We've had him on the show before, and he'll be coming up later on this week. And if you like our podcast, what do you need to do, Jen?
Like and follow us.
Like and follow.
Subscribe.
Do all of the things. The season finale is already here. Oh, and the Golden Bachelor premieres September 24th.
Yep, Mel.
With Mel. We're going to have Mel on the show in the weeks ahead, so a whole lot to look forward to as the Bachelor franchise keeps giving us surprise after surprise. For Gina and Jen, I'm Ryan. This is Playing the Field. We will see you next time on your favorite Bachelor podcast.